Phoenix Down Radio is on the air.
Welcome everybody to Phoenix Down Radio, episode number 177. I'm your host, Klauss Nightbringer. Joining me are these two yahoos, Seyrr and Marvelous. What's going on, guys? Good to see you. It's been a month. What the heck?
Yeah.
Well,
Life happens, doesn't it?
Mostly because of me, but my car works now.
Well, that's important. I mean, as long as you're okay, Seyrr, that's the most important part. So for those of you who are looking forward to an episode 2 weeks ago, sorry, Seyrr's car kind of broke down and he kind of...
Seyrr also broke down.
And yeah, we need to make sure that Seyrr is okay. So as long as Seyrr's okay and he's back, here we are. Let's have some fun, right?
Heck yeah.
As okay as I get, so...
But yeah, it kind of ended up being a nice little windfall for me because I ended up getting to spend that night with somebody very special. I don't know if you listened to the last episode. I started seeing somebody at the end of October, and we're still seeing each other, and it's pretty cool. So I'm a very, very happy Klauss right now. So
Klauss has feelings.
I know. How dare I, right?
Weird.
But
feelings are gross. How dare you?
This is how you know we're all like actually friends outside of just being hosts together, is that we can ride each other like this.
Exactly. And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care. I'm
it's
happy.
fine.
I'm doing good here. So we had a fun day today. Actually, she's actually upstairs right now. Not
Very
listening cool. Because she's not into Final Fantasy yet. We'll work on that. But we went to the brewery. They had a holiday craft show, which was kind of nice. Got a nice growler of a honey wheat beer. Shout out to Bobbing Bobber, very tasty stuff. And let's see, bought a new Christmas tree. So maybe you'll see that out on the socials, either on Discord, Twitter, something like that. Kind of cool stuff. What have you guys been up to in the last month?
I finished my graduate degree.
That's pretty fucking huge, dude. Congratulations.
Thank you. I finished my master's degree in 1 year instead of 2. My final GPA was 3.97.
Holy
nice.
Shit, that's amazing.
I worked full time for all but 2 months of it.
Wow.
And they haven't figured out, because there was 3 of us, and we're trying to figure out which one of us got valedictorian, which one of us got salutatorian, but I got one of the 2, and I'm not sure which yet.
Nice.
So that's been a whole process.
Wow.
But that finished finally, so hello, Marvelous is back. He finally has brain space to do things.
Welcome back, buddy.
I also set myself a hard stop in last September when I first started, because I was in school for a month, took 3 months off because I switched majors, and then did the next 11 months. I put a hard stop on playing Final Fantasy XIV because I knew how much time it took, and I know how much I love the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right during the time, right before Endwalker was coming out, and I said, look, I kind of don't care about Shadowbringers. I haven't played actively in a while. I need to let something go in order to be able to focus on this.
Yes.
And so I said, so I sold all my Magic cards, got rid of most of my Pokemon collection. I quit playing 14, and I said, no, I'm doing school first. I'm not going to pick between 2 cool things that keep showing up. I'm going to take an option now that lets me pick all of the above later on in my life.
That's tough to do, but congratulations on getting it done. Yeah. I mean, and then being able to, have such a high GPA and get through your courses so amazingly and a year early. That's
it was hard.
Yeah.
But it was fun. All to say, December 1st was my hard and fast I get to come back to Eorzea day. And after several hours of updating my PS4, because I haven't turned on the PS4 to do anything but watch Crunchyroll since last September, I was able to update everything, got Destiny updated, got 14 updated, bought Endwalker, got started, and walked in the door and was very lost. So a couple quick things for 14 that all of you know about that I did not know about. I found a game that is more boring than Lords of Verminion.
Oh.
It is called What Is This in My Inventory and Can I Use It for Desynthesis?
I love that game.
It is a terrible game and I hate it very, very much.
Well, Seyrr,
I will
Seyrr's a
spend
natural
hours
crafter.
I will spend hours playing that game. It's great.
So I actually, because I knew I was taking time off, I actually specifically sold all of my crafting stuff. All of it. Because I knew that it was going to rise and fall in value, and my opportunity cost of selling it then was going to be better than my opportunity cost of selling it now. So I didn't have any crafting stuff. I don't have anything. I just have a bunch of like pink, green, and blue gear, and I don't remember what any of it is. And oh my god, I forgot I put all my belts in my inventory. So I just opened up and had 2 pages of belts to destroy.
Well, Taliz, this is for you. Congrats on life. Congrats on coming back into the game, and welcome back, man.
We are very glad you are not dead.
So I did come back. Does somebody know where my other 100,000 hit points are?
I ate them. They were delicious.
Oh, I hate why I get it, but oh my god, that was a experience.
You do remember the crunch, right?
No, I don't.
That it was announced during one of the live letters talking about Endwalker. They crunched all the numbers. All a wow.
I know, and I know why, and I heard about it, but no, I don't remember. I quit playing before that happened.
Yep.
So, other
Hilarious.
thoughts. Fandaniel is a stupid ass name. It is. No, it is awful. The
Also
only reason
kind
I'm
of a stupid
tolerating him.
ass, but
Only reason I'm tolerating him is because 1, he's a very well-written villain, and 2, he's voiced by Yoshisori Mitsugu, who voices such wonderful characters as Inosuke from Demon Slayer. So it's really, really fun to hear him being even more unhinged.
is that possible?
I don't know. Charlayan's City music. Whoever decided that the dropping of a bowl onto a stone floor as a sound effect in a song was viable needs to be hung and quartered at the Shinjuku HQ building of Square Enix, because oh my god, that song is irritating. So hopefully I don't have to be there for long. And Seyrr, I know that this is a thing that you probably love mostly because it's a ship and it's weird, so that definitely tracks for you. The Kryl Grahatia ship. That is, she calls him Raha a lot.
Sure, that just means they're. So that means some type of closeness, but I never saw it as I mean, the dude's clearly gay.
Ship is real, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, yeah, but Grahati is clearly gay.
Maybe
whether your Warrior of Light is male or female, dude's gay.
So fun bits.
I would say Graha is probably very trisexual. He'll try anything at least once.
God damn it. So also now, I am a year late into getting into Endwalker, so this is all kind of a fun experience. Speaking of things that are late, I had a joke for the last episode that I didn't get to use. So Seyrr, get ready. You are the punchline of this joke. So I told Seyrr in chat, I said, hey, there's this really good World of Final Fantasy clone that's coming out on Friday. Maybe we should mention it in the show. Seyrr decides to be a librarian and deep dive and try to find this game. And an hour later, he just puts in the chat, it's Pokemon, isn't it? I was like, yeah.
He's like, I fucking hate you.
So good. So if anybody needs a raid spec Azumarill, first off, no, you don't. Second of all, message me. You can find me on Instagram at Marvelous Tofu, and I'm happy to talk about Pokemon at any time. But yes, I'm back to gaming. I'm back to hosting a podcast. I'm back to hanging out with 2 of my buddies. But yeah, life has been wild.
Right.
For the last month. Well, year.
Seyrr, you want to talk about your last few weeks?
There's not a whole lot to report. I went down to visit my family for Thanksgiving and then got stuck down there for several extra days. So I only just got back a day or so ago.
Was it a good time at least?
Car issues, both going down and coming back.
Ooh.
The coming back was the starter and battery were both dead.
Oh.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. It's okay. Stuff is working now. My car is functional.
Hopefully
Things
you
are
don't
good.
have one of those cars that requires the engine be dropped to get at the starter.
No, nothing crazy like that.
Yeah, you have like a Ford, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, they at least put their starter in a decent place. Also, a hammer usually gets a starter going for at least a little bit. So, just the more you know.
Today I learned.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's how I got through about a week on my old Taurus until I had the money to be able to buy a new starter. So
It knocks the brush loose from where it's starting to seize, and so it'll help get your start point.
it gets the brush motor running again. So there you go. Aside from that, thank you to our Patreon producers, Nicknar, Aurori, Tibiant, Ravenheart, and Mika. We have a lot of game and community news to cover, about a month's worth. So let's go ahead and jump right into that. We have something really cool coming out in less than 2 weeks, guys. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion.
Is this the remake that they were talking about?
Yes.
Yes.
December 13th. This is coming out.
That's so soon.
It is.
I again, my timeline is broken because my timeline stopped in like summer of 2021. But
what? So weird.
This is crazy that this is coming out like from time of announcement to time of release just feels really fast, especially for Square Enix.
All right, this is an article from Nova Chrysalis. Thank you, Erren Van Duine. Crisis Core is more than a remaster. Also, I just also linked the newest launch trailer that they just released a couple of days ago. If you guys want to take a look at that, they're talking about detailed infographic information in this article. Talking about the resolution, the frame rate for each platform. And I thought that was kind of interesting. So it will run at 4K on the PS5, the Xbox Series X, and PC, along with being able to run 60 FPS. However, the older platforms will cap at 30 frames per second and have lower resolutions. So if you really want to get this game in the highest quality, you're going to want to look at a current gen console or PC. I went ahead and pre-ordered it on Steam, because then I can play it on my Steam Deck too.
I was going to say Steam Deck.
Hey, what
Steam
if I
Deck's
want the
choice.
experience of like playing it squinting at a tiny PSP screen?
Then
That's what the Switch is for.
Or just play the PSP version.
God,
I mean,
man, my PSP ended up so jank.
Same.
I just have a Vita.
I went through 2 PSPs and a Vita before I was just like, look, Sony, this is not your jam. I'm
No.
switching back to Nintendo.
Yeah, unfortunately, they didn't have the greatest luck with their handhelds, which is sad because, I mean, they were decent devices. Just
The Vita was a freaking amazing device. The PSP 4K it existed. It's fine.
But no, Switch is great too. But I mean, the thing that sucks about it is the fact that it's a little bit lower res. I mean, you're gonna get 720p at 30 FPS on that. So, but if it's what you have to play off of, hey, it's still gonna be a beautiful looking game with a lot of the assets are gonna be kind of based off of the Final Fantasy VII remake style. So it's gonna be definitely upgraded.
And if you like the game and you want to talk with us about it, we do have an open Final Fantasy channel on the Discord, and we'd love to talk about all the games in the franchise. So run in and talk with us.
Yep,
we'd love to hear about it.
And I will say, look forward to an in-progress review of the game on the next episode. I have it pre-ordered, I do plan on playing it a bit next week or the week it releases, and I hope to have some good thoughts on it. So let's go from there.
Excellent.
Now we have a lot of Final Fantasy XVI news, starting with there will be another playable character in Final Fantasy XVI. This article comes from Eurogamer and is written by Ed Nightingale. In an interview with Japanese site Game Watch, creative director Kazuyo Maehiro, is that how it's pronounced?
Where are we? Sorry, I had to have something else.
Maehiro.
Maehiro?
The E is silent.
Okay, so Maehiro noted that in early stages of the game, players will be able to control a character other than Clive. This is going to be very much like in Final Fantasy XII when you're playing as Rex.
Oh, okay.
So realistically, what we're going to be kind of getting here is we're going to get the likelihood is it's going to kind of be a backstory little tutorial style thing to get us used to how Final Fantasy XVI plays.
And also to introduce important characters who aren't necessarily the main.
Yep. So it's just adding another little layer of the complexity to the story, so we have something to look forward to. You know, we're not just going to be playing as a single character. We're going to be able to get a little more backstory and a little more information through another character's eyes.
I think they also learned through doing the episodes of Noctis as well as other characters in 15. People loved playing as Ignis. People loved playing as secondary characters in that same like plot piece. So I think adding that to the main story is a very good idea for this release.
I wonder if they could potentially do something similar to that, because with 15, when it was first released, you only played as Noctis.
You only play as Noctis, and then they had DLCs where you got to play as 2 other people.
They actually also changed it to where you could actually switch and control the other characters as well later on. I believe in the Royal Edition they added that.
Okay, I literally played the game one time through on release month and was so unenthused I just moved on.
Yeah, but if
so
you
good, they added stuff.
If you update your version, you should be able to switch back and forth between the playable characters, kind of in a similar way they did with Final Fantasy VII Remake. You can switch back and forth between Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa, or whoever's in your party, and control them instead.
I like that. I'll have to check that out.
It is very neat. Also in that article, Yoshida confirmed that while trailers have focused on Clive battling alone, he will be joined by NPCs controlled by AI. And most of Clive's journey will see the character accompanied by a party of friends. So it's going to be very much a kind of band of brothers group effort. You're not just going to be running through this world solo.
They're not pulling the lightning returns on this.
Yep. Also, they talk about the icons and kind of comparing them to Gundam, where an ordinary soldier is unable to effectively control these icons. It's going to take somebody very skilled and powerful in order to control what these godlike characters do.
It did seem like icons were associated with leadership already, so having to be something that requires special qualities does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, they're controlled by people called dominants. So take that how you will. Speaking of dominance,
I want to say so many things that will get us demonetized.
Save it for after
dark. This little bit of information just came out a couple of days ago. Apparently, Final Fantasy XVI was going to be rated mature for sex scenes and fantasy hate crimes. This article comes from Kotaku and is written by Isaiah Colbert. According to a Reddit translation of the game's rating on the Brazilian Ministério de Justiça website, hopefully that's kind of close.
Don't ever try to do that again.
Come on. Final Fantasy XVI features a cacophony of extenuating circumstances like sex scenes that are not fully shown, intentional deaths, torture scenes depicting suffering victims, drug use, prostitution, sexual content that is shown and discussed, and hate crimes. Yes, that's what it says. And hate crimes.
That's a lot. That is a lot.
This is using the Brazilian thing, so I don't know if there's a particular thing about. I don't know enough about their classifications to know what that actually means or would count as.
Now, especially with things like PEGI and because like the PEGI system rates things completely differently for Europe than we get with NTSC ESRB over here.
Yep.
Or ESRB. It's like it's very different from place to place. This was also, for those of you who are new to the show, hi, this is what I used to do at Nintendo. The legal requirements for what they're allowed to show and what they're allowed to do basically have to hit lowest common denominator sometimes. And if you're doing a big international release, you end up with some situations that are rated way higher than they need to be for certain regions, but you do what you got to do.
Now, according to an interview with Yoshida from GameSpot, he says, when trying to tell a story with difficult adult themes, these ratings can end up becoming somewhat of a hindrance, and you find yourself changing things that you wanted to do in the game based on that rating. This time, to make sure that we could tell the story we wanted in the way we wanted to, we decided to pursue a mature rating in most of the regions that will be releasing the game. I like that. I like that a lot.
I love that it's Square Enix. They're going to do a bold thing that's slightly different than the standard system. Awesome. It's about time. This is what you guys grew your entire business on for the last 30 years.
And
do the cool thing.
The majority of the people playing these Square Enix games are in their 30s.
Yeah. The demographic is not 14 to 19 anymore.
No,
it's just not.
We're looking at 25 to 45 at this point. That is their key demographic right now, and good on them for actually releasing something that discusses something that's more than just a puppy love or budding romance kind of thing, or just some a little bit of political intrigue. Get into the nitty gritty. Let's have some fun with this.
They fuck.
We watched a dude get shot in the chest and die during the opening scene of Final Fantasy XII. Has anyone else played Type 0? Like, we can do this. It fits in the Final Fantasy branding, but there's a way to do it right, and there's a way to do it that it doesn't fit. There is no dark version of Final Fantasy V. It just doesn't quite work with the way the characters are set up. There's a great dark version of Final Fantasy I. It's called Stranger of Paradise.
Yes.
We can fit this into the franchise.
All right. Continuing on with Final Fantasy XVI news, apparently director Yoshida is going to be appearing at the Game Awards. This article comes from Game Informer and is written by Wesley LeBlanc. So this came about yesterday, I believe. So the official the Game Awards Twitter account added fuel to the fire by revealing that Final Fantasy XVI director Naoki Yoshida, who we interviewed about the game earlier this summer, that's from Game Informer, will be presenter at the show this year. Plus, he's being welcomed to give a very special live presentation. What this means remains unknown, but all signs are pointing to something with Final Fantasy XVI, maybe like a release date. Thoughts?
They're really tight on release dates with Square Enix. I don't think they're going to do it this way. However, it is also Yoshi P, and he's warned, we all still remember the Batman t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, he's really good at doing announcements that are very memorable. So the fact that he gets to do something, special, I think this is probably going to be something. Is it going to be a release date? Maybe. Is it going to be this quarter or this month or in fall? Like, that might give us something.
We already know spring 2023. And that leads into another story that we found that just came out today.
Yeah.
Apparently,
this morning,
the Final Fantasy XVI release date has been leaked on Twitter. This article comes from clutchpoints.com and is written by Jesse Reach Cortez. Oops, wrong. I put in the wrong chat. There we go. So normally we wouldn't report on something like this, but
it's unconfirmed.
This is 100% completely unconfirmed. This is coming from a Twitter user called The Snitch, and they released a cryptic poem on Twitter this morning.
This is so silly, and I love it.
In the loneliness of the night, a light blinded my eyes. 22 grains of sand and a crystal that protected me. 6 nations divided and a common language. Now, it seems really cryptic, but those of you who play 14, we're used to really cryptic little blurbs around New Year's, right?
Yeah, like, is this someone imitating Yoshi P's style with the things, or is it actually him? Like, is this a planned, controlled leak? I don't know. The weirdness of it got the brain going.
Yes, but what people are speculating right now is that this poem seems to leak that Final Fantasy XVI's release date will be June 22nd, 2023. Now, it makes sense because it falls kind of in that window of summer 2023. But remember, this is completely speculation, is a leak that we have not gotten any confirmation, but we may only have to wait until this Thursday to find out more. We'll have to see. I just thought it was kind of interesting to talk about.
It is, and I'm kind of looking at it going, light blinded my eyes. Final Fantasy XIII, blinded by light. 22 grains of sand, 22 crystals that protected me, 4 or 8, depending on where you're looking. 6 nations divided, we get 6. Common language, that one's a tough one. Loneliness of night, that one's a tough one. Maybe 12. So, like, we have a bunch of numbers, but how do we assign those with like, is this Rokuyobi, Nijuni? Like, how do we figure out where this is gonna fit? But
you
I
all realize
like
this is how conspiracy theorists get started, right?
You all know that I don't wear my tinfoil hat during these episodes, right?
Oh no, they've seized control of your brain.
No, they haven't.
Oh, well, you said so, so that seems likely. Okay, cool.
All right, and then the last big bit of news that we're going to talk about before we jump into the heart of the matter is there was a live letter a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, not as much.
Live letter 74, and we're utilizing Nova Crystallis's coverage of the live letter. So thank you again to Erren Van Dyne. Really do appreciate your coverage. Seyrr, because we're kind of on a time crunch, if you could summarize this a little bit best for us, we would appreciate that.
So it's going to be patch 6.3, God's Revel, Lands Tremble, which and all that nice apocalyptic imagery.
Lovely.
They'll be of course continuing the main scenario quest, Tataru's Grand Endeavor, the Tales of Newfound Adventure side quest will continue. That was another one that's unlocked by leveling various roles to cap, so it seems like it may be tying in with those role quests again. Later on, we'll be having those somehow further Hildebrand adventures and the Manderville weapon side quests in 635. They did confirm the Loporits as our new tribal quest for 635 as our crafting tribal quest.
You forgot one important thing. January 2023 is when this is supposed to drop. So we're looking at about a little over a month from now where we're going to have 6.3.
We'll almost certainly be getting a more specific date in a couple weeks.
Yeah, there's going to be another live letter coming up probably before Christmas.
Yep. A new instance dungeon in the main scenario, Lapis Manalis, meaning, I believe, something like Blue Stone or Blue Cavern, something like that. Name suggests...
Cavern.
Yeah, the name suggesting that this is going to be something dealing with Garlemald, given how much they love the Latin.
That'd be nice.
Yep. There will also be a new trial, though of course details on that are secret. They have confirmed there will be an extreme level difficulty. We'll get our new Unreal trial as Sophia. The new chapter of Myths of the Realm will be continuing, and this time we'll be going to Euphrosyne. Read about the three graces. It'll make more sense. They have confirmed that the newest Ultimate Duty will be releasing 2 weeks after the launch of 6.3, though again, they are keeping mum on the details.
Secret.
They also mentioned that 635 will bring us the third deep dungeon called Eureka Orthos. Does not seem to be related to the Eureka of Stormblood, so everyone can breathe easier about that.
Oh, darn. I was hoping it was.
Oh, God.
Yep. Same deal as with previous deep dungeons. A roguelite that changes each time you enter, can be explored in groups of 1 to 4. This one will require level 81 or above to enter, and you'll start at level 81, and otherwise generally similar to Palace of the Dead and Heaven on High. And there will probably be some specific mechanics that we'll find out more about later on.
You also must have completed Endwalker.
Yes.
So Marvelous, you got a little bit of work to do, buddy.
I got plenty of time. I already have most of my Pokemon team built.
Splendid. They will also confirm that duty support will be expanded. Previously, the duty support would carry you through the vault in Heavensward, and they've added a number of dungeons all the way up to Baelsar's Wall. So I believe that actually does take you through the rest of Heavensward, including the after content.
Yep, I think so.
Yes, it does. Baelsar's Wall was that final one. Also, hi, what's duty support?
So, do you remember trusts?
Yes.
It's trust.
It's that. Only for the lower level stuff. So you can play, you don't have to join people for dungeons. Also, they changed Castor Meridianum and Praetorium to be 4-mans and snipped out a lot of the extra stuff, and the fight against the Ultima weapon is now its own fight.
Yes, Praetorium is gone.
Hang on, I'm trying to figure out if I could say anything to make him blink even more rapidly.
I'm making sure I still have feeling in my left arm. I'm like, what is happening to my game?
Yeah, the big thing is with the trusts you had it where you could level them up. Duty support is separate from that in that it's people who, it's generally random NPCs or the like who would join you based on what's appropriate. So in a lot of the Realm Reborn stuff, you have like Grand Company members or Scion Thaumaturge and Gladiator and things like that. For Heaven's Word, it's often ones that are plot appropriate. So when going through the area, you can actually have Estinian and Alphino in your party.
Yeah, basically what they're doing is they're allowing
as a consequence of that, they did rework a bunch of the fights as well.
Yep. So basically what they're doing is they're allowing for players to get through these older pieces of content without having to worry about finding other people to join them. You can solo through most of it.
Yeah. For those who do, or for those who just like the experience of getting to do stuff with the NPCs, having like kind of more story focused experience. They've mentioned job adjustments as usual. At the moment, there's not any large-scale changes, but they did mention that Paladin's rotation will be heavily revised, and they'll be getting into more detail in the next live letter. No adjustments to PvP actions on deck, but Series 3 will be beginning in 6.3, as well as Season 5 of Crystalline Conflict. They'll also be adding another arena for Crystalline Conflict. The place has a bit of a Kugane vibe to it.
Well, it is Kugane Castle, so...
Yeah. Let's see. For crafters and gatherers, they're bringing in tool enhancement quests. This seems to be the equivalent of crafting relics for this one. And that will be in 635 featuring Grenell back in the first. I really appreciate that they're not abandoning
Nice.
I always felt like, okay, they barely did anything with Grenell. So it's nice to see him getting his due.
Under the sea?
Pretty much. New custom deliveries, though we have no info about the client at the moment. Some improvements to quality of life improvements for collectability, as well as fish guide information. They'll actually be adding a spearfishing region in Upper Lenosha, so that'll be the first spearfishing region in the Realm Reborn zones.
This next part I'm very happy about.
Yeah, they're going to be... I had been worried about Island Sanctuary, about what they would do with it going forward, but they are going to be adding new ranks, visions, item rewards, new materials, crops, and animals. They did picture a griffin and a tiger, as well as a Morble seedling.
Which is not a minion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot more HQ ranks to try and pick up, to fill out your paddock of animals. So.
I feel like stockpiling Morbles ought to be some type of crime against humanity.
Depending on what you do with that bad breath.
There's no legitimate reason to do that.
You're stocking up bad breath, that's all.
As well as some quality of life improvements with new structures, improvements to the workshop interface based on the feedback that they've been getting from us. Especially a lot of stuff to simplify reading the agenda supply and demand and earnings reports. They're also going to be adding an option to collect all available yields and leavings at once. Which,
that's going to be nice.
For those of you who have been patiently gathering from the animals in the field, much nicer.
Well, basically, how it works is right now, if you have your little bots taking care of them for you, you have to go one by one through the list in order to collect the information from them still. So they're going to have a collect all now.
Yep.
That's going to be very, very nice. Now, this part I'm very happy about as well.
Yeah, they'll also make it easier when you capture a new animal to release one that you're already caring for.
Not that
much
part,
easier. Yeah.
The part I'm more happy about is this last bit we're going to talk about right now. The treasure hunt?
The treasure hunt?
Yes.
Yes. So they are adding treasure hunt. You may all remember, of course, the XIII 6000 that we've been enjoying. But they will be adding... Yeah, they will be adding a new treasure hunt dungeon, the Shifting Gymnasian Aganon, which will be accessible via a new Elpis-centric treasure map.
So, yes.
I know a lot of people had remarked on the fact that Elpis treasure map was not really a thing due to, continuity issues and all. And it sounds like they're adding a little something special for that, so that'll be fun.
So, an unsundered treasure maps. That's going to be freaking awesome.
Oh, there's going to be some more weird ancient bullshit. Oh my god, Marvelous, you have so much weird ancient bullshit to encounter. It's great.
And guess what? I'm texting you so that you can come with me.
Excellent.
And Seyrr, you're going to be able to stamp a whole bunch of new canon stamps on things.
Oh man, I have so much headcanon to tell you about. Moose had a long-running thing about going into Endwalker about Crystal Mom loves you and she did her best. And it's been updated to Crystal Mom loves you, but also she's a huge troll, so good luck with that. I love her so much. Oh. A couple other miscellaneous updates, a new Leap of Faith course for the Gold Saucer, additional housing wards for all residential areas and all worlds, 6 wards, 6 subdivisions, so 1,800 new plots per world.
That's a lot.
That's a shitload.
That's a lot.
They'll be announcing the details about distributions for FC versus private plots later on.
I'm betting 50-50.
Yep. UI improvements, including the ability to display remaining time for buffs and debuffs of the parting list. Icons for damage type on the flying text for your damage. I know so many people who have been starting out on Dark Knight asking, okay, this thing reduces magic damage. Which one is magic damage? And it's always been a thing like, okay, does it say it readies or casts? And now you can just look at the pretty picture.
Yay!
Various other UI improvements, accessories, glamours, and dye stuff. Lots of little improvements like that. Finally, they did announce a new music album available digitally, Sanctuary's Heart Chill Arrangement album, a 4th set of official line stickers for those of you online. Is anyone online outside of Japan? Is that even a thing? I don't think that's a thing.
Not really.
Nope. Some announcements about the orchestra concerts in Japan, and they noted that since next year is going to be Realm Reborn's 10th anniversary, they do have some big plans in the works for that.
That hurts my heart a little bit.
That's so weird. What the hell, Time?
How long have you had your tattoo, Klauss?
Only since last November, so a little over a year.
Yeah, I've had mine since March of 2019. I got it touched up a few weeks ago, and I'm just like, wow, I got this tattoo late.
Yeah, and I got it even later, but still,
and now
Jesus.
It's like 10 years ago. Like, I remember my first FC was just the people that I was working with when I worked in the gaming industry. And now my FC is like people that I go to a convention with. Like, it's a completely different group. It's been so long that I've like switched social circles and counties that I lived in and countries that I've lived in during the time of this game. And I'm like, the game hasn't been out that long.
Yes, it has.
2 degrees and a house purchase and moving across an ocean twice in the middle of release to now. Yeah, it's been out a while.
You can now start describing it in decades.
I would like for you to never ever say that again.
Well, I haven't moved, but I've had 3 jobs in that time frame.
You've had 3 jobs. You've paid off a third of your mortgage, homie.
Well, I refied.
Okay, you shut up. You paid off a third of your mortgage.
Number go down, and this is one of the cases where you want number to go down instead of number go up.
Yeah, number is still going down, yes, but
refi your mortgage and then pay property taxes on the new value.
I've played I've played Final Fantasy 14 on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 computers during that time frame.
3 in my case, but
2 of them are laptops.
I tend to nurse mine along for a bit longer.
One computer, a PS3.
Then to PS4.
3 PS4s.
Oh. Well, I mean, you're still... Yeah, okay. Okay, that's fair.
And we're just the people playing it. Think about the people who have been working on and developing it. They've got a... So it makes sense that they're going to want to do some big stuff for it.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to what 7.0 brings.
Same.
There's going to be a lot of cool graphical improvements. It's just going to be amazing. Let's see what all happens with that. So congratulations for 10 years almost on Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, because we're over 12 years on 14 in general.
If we count 1.0 and
yeah, that's what I mean.
Coerthus with grass and
and a whole bunch of weird shenanigans with Atomos.
Speaking of entirely too long, Nick Nar has subscribed to Tier 1 for 65 months!
Yes, thank you for 65 months.
That is also a long time.
Much appreciated, my friend. Welcome to the show again.
If you need an awkward segue, that's divisible by 13.
Which we're gonna now jump into
What?
Disc 2 of our Final Fantasy XIII
Just kind of,
original
I don't
soundtrack
have
coverage.
anything I can throw that will hit you from here.
I'm not used to this.
Hey, I'm gonna take it. Okay. I mean, it's been a month since we've been here, so let's just roll with what we've got. Okay.
Do you not automatically factor numbers when you look at them?
No.
Oh.
Where's that button? Got it in 2.
All right. For those of you new to the show, we were in fact stalling for Klauss to find the button.
Okay.
It's Prime.
So I'm telling you butter again.
I will keep telling people which numbers are prime until they stop fucking up Rito Rana Lighthouse.
Hi. How about Song 1 from Disc 2 of Final Fantasy XIII? Let's go.
That's probably for the best.
Please, for the love of God.
Fans of the game are gonna instantly recognize this song.
This is my favorite battle theme in the franchise.
Yeah, this is the main battle theme of 13, Blinded by Light. Because lightning is slashing your eyes out. I mean, she's trying to.
So the Japanese title of it, Senko, literally means flash. I rather like the English localization of that name a bit better, though. Partly because it plays on the whole lightning. Lightning does start getting referred to as light, as a diminutive. And in fact, her actual name also has some tie-ins with light. So the connection between lightning and light and the concept of a warrior of light, like, I feel like that's just really spot on in terms of localizations there. A++.
It's a great song. I mean, hearing this song playing with every battle as you're learning the whole synergies with the different character types and the different battle styles that you can utilize. It's really easy to listen to as you're going through the fights.
Then you don't always have a synergist, Klauss. Come on.
Not synergist, but the synergies.
I am just trying to rack up a record for how many times Marvelous wants to throw things at me.
Well, you're at about
I think
4
you're
now.
I was gonna say you're getting close, homie. I think your cap is about 11. So,
I mean, we've got another hour or so of songs to listen to, so I'm sure he can really bring it in. So.
Now, it is an iconic theme for 13, but it does continue to show up throughout the series. You've got it as the background theme in the Vile Peaks of 200 AF in Final Fantasy XIII-2, as well as the new Bodum 700 AF battle theme. That one, of course, is set in after the end of... Like, the events that happen there are very focused around what's going on with lightning and that, so it makes sense that they use that music for it. And it's used as the main theme for Lightning Returns Final Fantasy XIII, given that Lightning is the main character and the only one the player can control.
Yep. It's just a banger. It's really good. So they did an amazing job on this.
Yeah, we've talked before about with battle themes how you can't necessarily know exactly what's going to be happening over it, but you want something that kind of has that ebb and flow that will line up with what's going on in the battle, and you really get that out of this song.
And once you get through that battle, the Glory's fanfare. That was
which is not the fanfare.
No.
It is glorious fanfare. Aiko no fanfare. Like, it's not the fanfare that we're used to, but it's a new fanfare because 13, more so than 12 did, but 13 being the next gen console, that PS3 first title, was kind of a turning point. And they were like, no, we need to grow.
On Xbox.
That's right. It was the first Final Fantasy on Xbox. No, 11 was on Xbox.
But no, but it's the first one that launched on Xbox at the same time as PlayStation. Yeah, it's a very different fanfare than.
Exactly.
That's the iconic style of the fanfare we're used to. When we get to hear this, very different.
We talked a little bit in the previous show about how a lot of the music was more kind of this like technological or type thing. The classic fanfare, I feel like, would have just clashed with that way too much. Let's
go ahead and I'm going to jump into the next one because this plays directly after that. This is the battle results music. So we get a little bit of a continuation on with that different sound that we got on Glory's Fanfare. So this is what you hear when you're seeing your results showing up, because this is was this the first Final Fantasy that actually had the ranking system on your battles?
I believe so.
You got 1, 2, or 3 stars?
Up to 5.
This was also a very Japanese thing, like arcade games, point attack, RPGs, a lot of them have a immediate score, immediate result. And that goes all the way down into like elementary school, where do X, get score, feel good or bad, move forward. So that builds itself into gaming mechanics where, did you do well? I'm going to tell you immediately if you did well so that you can improve upon it next time.
It's a very, very technological sounding, but it's actually very nice. I like it.
It's got a chill vibe to it.
Yes, very, very kind of, like a lo-fi kind of, well, not really lo-fi, but it's kind of, I don't know, chill vibe. Yeah, that's more close to it, I think.
Yeah.
I just I'm constantly listening to lo-fi on YouTube right now, and a lot of it talks about chill vibe, things like that. So that's why it jumped into my head, even though it's wrong. So
yeah, I forget if the battle score actually affected your drops and things like that.
Yes, it did.
It did.
The higher your star rank, the higher chance you had at getting those rare drops.
Okay.
Yep. Which is why you cheated the living daylights out of the game once you got Vanille.
Yep, that's something that also came.
PP recovery as well.
That part came from 12, where the longer your chains went, the better your drops got. So the better you did, the better your drops. So let's go ahead and continue. Go ahead.
I just found a gauge about it. So you did get more rare drops and more TP recovery with a higher ranking. With a lower ranking, you got a lot more of those shrouds, the ones that would give you starting buffs. Okay. So it looks like it would give you stuff to help you out a little bit if you were struggling with it.
That's actually a very good way to do things. Help you use the things that'll help you to get better, and then as you get better, then you can get the better drops.
Yeah, there's a thing about stable and unstable equilibriums that if this were talk about mechanics instead of music, I would go on a 10-minute digression about. But I'll just reference it, and you can ask me about it later if you want to.
Let's take a brief respite, because that's what this song is called.
Speaking of Vanille doing cute things, this is it's playing when Vanille gets her weird weapon of confusing functionality. And also when you find an airship.
Cute girls doing cute things, Final Fantasy Edition?
I would watch every episode.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't?
And I mean, I said that as a joke, but this track does sound like something you'd find in an anime of that style. It's got this gentle feel to it.
All right, Seyrr, here's the new plan. For another episode, we're going to play this song, and you and I are going to argue about the best flavor of Calpico. I will write us a script.
Ooh.
And then we can just see if the cute girls doing cute things script treatment works for this song.
I'm down for it.
You want strawberry?
Give me mango, actually.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and continue on then, since you guys are diverging way off track.
You have no idea how bad it's going to get.
Oh, yeah.
All right, this is the cavalry theme. This is basically when Sid Reigns appears, this plays.
I hate this guy so much. I hate him so much.
I already liked him, and that was before he became a broken monster in the city of Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. Launches for days. He just got his burst and force weapons.
And of course, you already have it, right?
Yes. I saved for it. I like Sid Reigns.
Yeah, he's actually pretty good in Defu. I will give you that.
Yeah. He carries some interesting roles in Final Fantasy XIII. Of course, we have to have our obligatory Sid, and he's tied in with the airship. He's first presenting himself as someone who's helping in our attempts to rebel against the Cocoon Society and the Fal'Cie. And, but yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I could say about him without going into a half-hour lecture.
He's really a dick. Okay, enough said.
I wouldn't agree with that.
He's a dick.
He is.
Complete dick.
I mean, he's trying to, because we're trying to rebel against this thing. He sees our rebellion as part of this larger design of the fallacy. Even this attempt to fight against them is part of their plan, and so he's trying to shatter their plan entirely. Trying to show that he could. Yeah. I mean, he makes it clear that he was turned a long time ago, and this is his, when he does confront and fight the party, that this is his one attempt to try to break out of their control. For those who have played Shin Megami Tensei 4, it's the same energy as the people who are like, you know what would... all this stuff with God trying to manipulate us, you know what would really fuck up his plan? If we deleted the universe.
Yeah.
It's the only way we can be free.
Okay, Kefka.
Also, SMT is dark. So if you like dark stories and you like JRPGs, I have great news for you. There's a buttload of them.
Oh, now, that could be an entire other thing. But yes.
Let's escape from this with escape.
The idea that even your rebellion is part of the overarching plan. And so the only way to really be free of their control is to break everything.
Like I said, I escaped from what you were just talking about, Seyrr, so you need to just be quiet now, so.
He does also make it. He makes an appearance in 13.3.
We escaped. That's anyway. We moved on. This plays at the end of chapter 3. This is called Escape. Now Seyrr gets it.
Yeah. Sorry, Sid. I could say so much about Sid Race.
I know you can. We gotta keep moving, bruh. So at the end of chapter 3, they're trying to get away from everybody that's trying to kill them right now. So, hence escape.
Also, I love that there was chapters in this game because it is such a big story. We needed checkpoints to really understand where we were at in the arc of how we're building as characters and building as people. So I like that we had a nice solid break at a couple of spots. If this is chapter 3, this is chapter 4, this is chapter 5. It's like, oh, we're moving on to new people in a new area. Good to know.
Yeah. So
it also, rather than wandering the world map, it allows us to kind of move between different areas and set pieces.
Well, 13
so
was
for the structure.
13 was extremely linear, so it was.
I mean, they're all linear. 13 just didn't hide it. I've said this before, and I'll say it again.
I mean, 10 was very linear, but I mean, 13 was extremely linear. So
they're all linear. They just usually hide it.
All right. So after we escape, we have the crash landing.
Or shooting Gekitsui, shooting down if you're speaking Japanese.
Yep. This is playing during the final cutscene of chapter 3. So obviously they try to escape on some sort of ship, and well, we get shot down and we crash. Duh.
Yeah. This is the point where the parties have kind of scattered to the four winds. Rather than everyone was together briefly to have this shared fate inflicted upon them, and then because they're not really the Nakama yet, they each kind of have their own feelings about it and their own thing they're going to deal with. So what was a group of 6 splits up into, I want to say 3 groups?
3 groups of 2, I believe, yes.
2 groups of 2 and 1 group of 1 because the 6th member isn't there yet.
Okay.
So who do we have? Saz Vanille, and then Snow
by himself,
and then Lightning and Hope.
Right, and then Lightning and Hope. Okay.
Yep. This is where that ship has its genesis. Some people really want Hope and Lightning to be together.
I really don't, because Hope is like 10.
14,
I mean, like, he gets aged up at some point, but also if he's with Lightning, then he can't be with Snow, and that's the superior one.
Anyway, that sounds like Daddy's Got the Blues, which is what this one is called. Start of chapter 4. This happens when Saz is talking with Vanille after Hope leaves.
I love harmonica music so much.
I just love blues music. This is just really good stuff.
the Japanese name Afroso Bruso, or literally Afro Blues, is a little bit.
It's talking about Saz's hair. Come on.
I mean, I know, but Square Enix doesn't have a great track history with persons of color as characters.
No, they don't. They really don't.
I mean, they are not atypical in terms of Japan in general, but it's still a thing.
It's still a bomb track, though.
Oh, no, it's great. Saz is a fun character.
Love Saz. Especially the little chocobo chick in the hair. Come on. Who doesn't love that? But his afro's got to have so much chocobo shit in it. Come on.
Oh, don't talk about Chocobo Colina that way.
Wow.
That's who Chocobo Colina is.
It's just chocobo shit personified.
No, like the Chocobo in the Chocobo chick. That's Chocobo Colina. Or Chocolina, I think was her name. This is canon. I can find the references for you.
No, you just have an emote.
Yeah. But yeah, we do get lots of this style of it. Like, I forget if this one is specifically Saz's theme, but it certainly at least fits his style. Throughout the games, when we hear him, we get these kind of like bluesy things. We get that harmonicas that Marvelous was mentioning. He's old enough that in most JRPGs, they'd be calling him Grandpa, and he does very firmly take the role of teen dad.
But, I mean, the dude's got like a 5-year-old son. He's not Grandpa yet.
If you're over 30, you're Grandpa.
Well, I mean, since the average age of the SE protagonist is about 12, yeah, I guess.
This is not just an SE thing. I have other stories I could tell you about.
Yeah, I know. It's called Persona.
Yeah, that's one. Anyways.
This is just a banger track, but we should continue to move on.
Yeah.
Let's jump into the Vile Peaks.
Yeah.
This is kind of an interesting one, because if you listen to it, you can kind of hear the background kind of vocal bit, but you really can't understand what they're saying. But it sounds very ominous.
Ooh, that sounds almost like a hawk's cry kind of thing.
Thought this was okay. It sounds like a hawk's cry, like have like birds calling to each other from like mountaintops, Vile Peaks, right? Mm-hmm. But also there's that echo. There's that like high tenor toned echo in it that you get out of a place that has a lot of stalagmite growth, because sound waves bounce really, really hard. And it doesn't sound correct because it's not smooth and reverberating the way that our eardrums are used to. So they actually use this theme in the, what is it called? The Mahabara. It's one of the caves in chapter 4.
The Mahabara
that you go through.
Subterra. The
Subterra area. And because it has that same track, it's the same track for both, you understand that, oh, this is the space we are, this is all the same chapter, this is all the same story. It's the same level of danger that I need to worry about, but they're using it in two different places, and you hear the song in two different ways, when one thing is very warm-toned and open air textured, and one thing is very cool-toned and all darker in saturation. They used visual to play with this song. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really smart. It's great use of the technology.
When you only have so much space for music, you gotta.
I feel kind of tense just listening to it.
Good. That means they wrote it right.
Yes.
That's what it's supposed based on where we're at. This is like just key. It's wonderful. Let's go ahead and jump into the next one. We get Lightning's leitmotif, aptly named Lightning's theme. And it's interesting because, you know, you think of Lightning as a very hard character. She doesn't really show much emotion. She's really disciplined, and she's very, you know, very much like a soldier. I mean, she was a part of the what were they called?
Psycom?
Yes. But we start to get a little bit more of her story, you know, especially when it comes to her sister Seyrr. And this really shows a softer side of her.
Yeah, like this one's a bit more, like you can hear the elements of Blinded by Light, but it's like a more slower, sedate. This wouldn't sound out of place in a piano.
It's a very pretty song, and I can imagine how beautiful the complete, you know, piano rendition of this would be without the strings too. But just it's a very, very soft and different side of Lightning that we start to see at this point.
I want to hear this arranged by Arnie Roth very, very badly.
Oh, this would be absolutely amazing at A New World. Exactly. I mean, this almost sounds like it's something that Benjamin and the strings side would play beautifully.
I like this bit here. It is capturing a little bit of the energy of Blinded by Light at this moment, which gives it a hopeful vibe.
Yes, it's a positive thing at this point versus you're trying to strike against, you know, something, you know, these oppressive forces.
Yeah, it plays at several points in the story, not just with Lightning, but with other characters when they are showing resolve, when they're making plans to do something, when they're finding a reason to go on.
Yep.
Not always the greatest ones. This includes Hope's Operation Nora, which is his plan to get revenge on Snow, but at the same time, that's something. At the same time, it is something that's giving him what he needs to keep moving on. One of the recurring themes being, when faced with this hopeless situation, how do you keep moving forward? Sometimes people do it in ways that aren't necessarily the best one, but it's the crutch they need at that moment.
Yeah, this also is playing as she's explaining when she actually changed her name as well. So again, it's
right, because she was a Psycom soldier and had a different name.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into the next character theme, which is Saz's theme. This is his actual theme, and it fits him very well.
Still has that smoky jazz vibe going on.
This first plays during this scrap processing zone in the Vile Peaks.
After the high tension enemies everywhere feel of the previous Vile Peaks stuff, this bit where you're starting to move through, as I said, the scrap processing zone, lots of shenanigans with setting machines off to destroy obstacles. It has an almost playful feel to it, like a little bit of like, okay, we're in a bad situation, but we're gonna have fun with it. Let's dance, kind of thing.
That's how Saz rolls, though.
Well, everything's terrible. It's time to do the fun thing. Nope, not that kind of fun. Get back here. We need to.
What, you mean this kind of fun? The March of the Dreadnoughts. This happens when Hope is interacting with a dreadnought in the Vile Peaks.
This is the kind of
This is not the kind of fun Saz was talking about.
Saz, of course, having one of the top 10 Final Fantasy lines of all time. Run, I meant away. He's very smart, he's very strong, but he definitely is playful in a lot of it.
Yeah, he's, as mentioned, he's kind of the teen dad, and he's the teen dad to a lot of very rambunctious and misbehaving children.
A little bit. But no, this also plays while they're messing with the Juggernauts in the Subterra area, and is the background theme for Valis Media.
Yeah, there's a bit of hey, we're gonna futz around with stuff that maybe we shouldn't be, and we're just gonna see what happens. Some shenanigans are about to ensue.
It makes for some fun, definitely, but it's a more of that chaotic, oh my god, what the fuck did I just do kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then when you're done, let's do that again.
Yeah, this particular bit here, I can imagine just someone laughing maniacally as they ride atop a juggernaut, crashing over the things. It has that feel to it. This might crash and kill us horribly, but for the moment we are soaring high and having fun. And let's travel in that.
All right, let's go ahead and jump in to the next song. This is the Gapra Whitewood. Guess where this plays?
I do not remember this song.
This plays in the Gapra Whitewood.
Shock surprise.
It's first heard upon reaching the ruins in Lake Brescia, though. And then this is the theme for, like I said, the forenamed Whitewood.
Hang on, it's coming.
There's just something very fun about all of these songs.
There it is.
You get this chant on the top. On top of a very kind of techno style music with a very fast, drum machine beats in the background.
Yeah, the Gapra Whitewood is ostensibly a forest, but more than that, it is the testing grounds for a lot of the various biotechnological marvels and monsters.
Yeah, we see a lot of those slug monsters in this area.
Yep, or I believe some of the modified behemoths you really start encountering for the first time here, other stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of a biological warfare testing ground, basically.
Yeah, you often have in previous Final Fantasies a forest that they pass through that's kind of they got this ethereal, almost Fey-like quality to it.
Like Macalania Woods in 10?
Yeah, or the Phantom Forest in 6, things like that. And this feels like it's taking that trope and playing with it a bit, saying, okay, what does that look like in this technological world?
Yeah, this is
while still having that air of wondrous mystery to it.
Yeah, it's a completely fabricated area, built by those on Cocoon as part of the military portion of their, it's
Mm-hmm.
top secret kind of stuff that they're not supposed to be there. That was about the other song.
Oh, was that the previous one? Okay,
yes.
Sorry, I've had 2 different chats asking me questions right now.
Well, focus.
Yes, March of the Dreadnoughts was definitely very bubbly.
Yeah, kind of. It's very odd for its name, but still is a banger. All right, let's go ahead and move on from the Gapra Whitewood and talk about the tension in the air. This plays in the lower Gapra Whitewood. And it also plays before we fight Alexander in Valles Media. So there's a lot of tension
Alexander
going on.
Fight.
Yep, with
the Alexander fight in this game rocks.
I really love the icon fights in 13.
Yes.
Because they're one-on-one basically, and it's really, you're like we talked about in the previous episode, they're really fighting their resolve to continue moving on, with their focus.
You're getting a lot of quiet periods, then with a sudden surge of sound. It's again, given the name tension in the air, it's going to add to that. So having the thing of it kind of gives a feel of unseen enemies who are moving possibly to surround you. Not much melody, just the percussion.
Yep. But it really does build that tension.
Oh yeah.
It makes you really wonder what's around the corner.
Yep. It's kind of those things, when the music stops, something is about to go wrong. And here the melody, the music has stopped. So even though we're still hearing music, it's kind of...
I stopped it.
Oh, that's good.
Sorry. I mean, there's a little bit of a melody hiding back there, but it's very... It is...
It's not the point of it.
No. It is the percussion is the point.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and jump in to Forever Fugitives.
Forever Fugitives was... Oh, was this the cutscene?
Yes.
Yep.
Snow's flashback of Seyrr's capture on the 12th day.
Anima. Yeah. This is also one of those really cool songs that pulls from other themes and other big pieces of music that have appeared so far to sort of clue you in, this is where all of these plot lines are coming together.
Yep. Because 13 is very confusing to most people when you first play it, but they do a pretty good job of tying these little pieces together, why they're all working together at this point. So
I think I got to chapter 7 and then stopped playing the game because I didn't understand what was going on, and then had to go back and play it again to get... I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, There's definitely some stuff that is a big. There's some stuff that's a lot clearer on a second playthrough.
Yeah.
And but when it's like Oda mentioned a few weeks ago, like One Piece's prologue is officially done at 1,000 episodes, right? It's like, well, the 13's kind of the same problem. Like the first 7 chapters are prologue, and it's like, dude, I don't know if this is gonna work. This is gonna be rough. Was Seyrr's icon anima?
Seyrr didn't have an icon come out.
I thought she did.
Nope. She fulfilled her focus and so turned into crystal.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the icon is for when you're at your limit and about to give up, and she never had the chance for that to happen.
Because she just went ahead and took care of it. This is one
Without
of my
meaning to.
Yeah, this track right here is probably one of my favorites within Final Fantasy XIII.
Oh, I love this one too. I will just like start randomly singing this one sometimes.
The Sunleth Waterscape.
I'm glad that they made this a very happy song, because this is an area where you have reached a threshold in pushing X to win the game that it stops working and you have to figure out how the game works. And so you're here practicing and battling everything that moves for a while for most casual playthroughs.
Oh, okay.
So you have to be here for a minute to really like understand how your system works. If you have just been pressing X to win the game, this is where that comes to bite you in the butt. And so you're here for a while figuring it out. So they picked a good song to play over a lot of battles.
In terms of the story, you have just Vanille and Saz here at this point, and a lot of the story sequences are dominated by Vanille's perky, upbeat attitude, her cheerful blithe, oh, let's just worry about it later.
Pinkie Pie.
Yep.
She's...
It'll be a little bit later that we get to see the deep sadness underlying that. As I mentioned, for some reason I feel affinity with characters like these, and I don't care to think about why.
But yeah, this is definitely a rearrangement of the promise from Final Fantasy XIII here. So, but they added some lyrics on top of it for this new location.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you have all sorts of like you've got. Compared to the rest of Cocoon, this is the place where you have most of the feeling of actual nature, even if it is totally artificial. Mm-hmm. You have puzzles that have you changing the weather to bring in rain and sun, and it never feels like storms. It feels like, okay, a nice gentle rain kind of thing.
And you get Final Fantasy XIII's version of Ride the Shoe Puff! Or is that just in 13 too?
I think that's just in 13 too.
Where you get to ride this giant. Is it just 13 too? Well, I love that part though. Come on. It was fun riding those giant things. No, we do actually. I think we do actually ride those giant Enki things in the Sunleth Waterscape here, don't we?
You fight them.
Oh, you fight them. Okay.
Yeah, it's all battle.
Okay.
Yep. I forget if it's a separate theme for it, but the fight against them is another one that has that kind of jazzy feel to it, like one of Saz's tracks.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, because in 13-2, when we're on the back of one of these, we're throwing Mog.
Yeah, poor Mog.
But you throw Mog in order to find interesting loot, and I thought that was kind of a neat mechanic in 13-2.
Poor Mog.
Kupo.
Huh. But yes, this is just like. This is a type of thing that I'll like, I was going to say like I'll put it on, but I won't even need to play it. I'll just like start humming it or singing it. If it's like a nice sunny day and I'm out for a walk. It just has that vibe to it.
If you could have theme music play around you, this is one of the songs you want?
Absolutely.
You don't want to be riding on the bus, riding on the bus, riding on the bus. All right, sorry.
People, you see what I have to deal with every 2 weeks. It's these two.
You've missed it.
Keep
Admit it.
back.
Admit
I
it.
missed it so
You
much.
missed it a ton. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into the next track. This is Lost Hope. Now this happens on a flashback of the 5th day when Saz Okay, so plays during Saz's flashback on the 5th day when Lightning has her revelation in Palampolum. Trying to remember what this was.
I believe the 5th day was where his son was taken was marked as a lessee.
Okay. And yeah, then that's why he ends up going where he was at, because he was trying to save Daj from his focus.
Yep.
Because his focus is very, very short, because he ends up turning crystal real fast.
I mean, one of the big things was that it was especially unclear what Daj's focus was, and as a kid, he didn't necessarily have a lot of the understanding or ability to communicate. They just determined that he could detect pulse creatures, but that didn't make it clear what his actual focus, as given to him by the fal'Cie, was.
Well, the fal'Cie is going to look at it and say, "Hey, he's a kid. He's not going to be capable of doing something like huge, but we need a human to do something. So let's have this kid do it because maybe he's so young, no one will care." Well, obviously that's not true.
Yeah.
But the fal'Cie don't think like humans do.
I'm wondering if it's possible that his focus was to get his father involved in all this bullshit.
We do not have enough episode for that, but yeah.
It's like, you guys don't want me doing the in-depth plot analysis, so we'll save it.
No, that's...
Yeah, we don't have 3 hours.
Message Daryl at Final Fantasy Union and go do that with him. You'll have a good time.
There you go. He actually does some really cool shit.
I was gonna say the other scenes where this plays, like as the title of the track is, it's Lost Hope. It's during moments where he's gonna lose his son, when Jill reveals the truth that Vanille is a Pulse lessee and the one who was responsible for Daj's marking by the fal'Cie. Also, pretty much when people are put in these, where they get these revelations of these horrible things. Like, one of the other things in the notes is that it does contain elements of Vanille's theme in there. Which, as we learn more and more about Vanille, we learn that she's got that happy, cheerful, but behind it all, she's kind of lost hope. She is waiting to die.
Oh yeah, she definitely is always, like, she's not a nihilist, but like she's kind of just done.
Yeah, she feels like she's already caused so much pain. Every attempt has just made things worse and hurt more people. She doesn't see a way forward, and in that, what is there to do but just to wait for the end, to try not to hurt anyone else.
All right, let's go ahead and continue on, because we could talk about that for hours and hours and hours and hours.
Yes.
100%.
This track is called To Hunt Lessee. Now, this is a background theme of the FMV section where in Palampolum, Snow and Fang end up saving Lightning and Hope from Psycom. And if you listen closely, you're going to hear elements of Blinded by Light and Forever Fugitives. It builds a little bit.
I have to say it's a little quiet.
I'm sure I'll have to drop it down again, but yep, here we go. I'm trying to remember this FMV, honestly.
I am too. Like, I remember Palampolum and like how bad Palampolum went, but
like there's the bit where Snow shows up on his bicycle and like that giant ice structure and whatnot.
Okay.
There we go. I mean, the title To Hunt Lessee, this is from the perspective of Psycom, of the Cocoon Forces. It's really highlighting the nature of our characters as fugitives, as something to be hunted, a danger to be put down, like an animal.
Yep, and now you're starting to hear those elements pop in. You heard a little bit of the Blinding by Light a little bit earlier, and here's a little bit more of it. Key shifted, but
Yeah, it's in a minor key. This is not a triumphant one.
No, this is a very, very tense situation because Psycom is closing in on Lightning and Hope, you know, and after Snow gets through his trial with his
Shiva,
with Shiva, then he's able to kind of bring them, the Shiva sisters, in, and they come in and rescue the day. So
it's not like a glorious rescue. There's no joy in it. You manage to evade death, but
hey,
you're still in an awful situation.
You live to fight another day.
Cost.
Yeah.
And that's about all you can hope for at this point. So
that's also most of 13 is we survived. Good job, everyone. Next. Like, that is all you get for a lot of the game.
Okay, next.
Is Final Fantasy XIII Judaism?
Anyway, speaking of the next song, this is called No Way to Live. This is a rearrangement of Snow's theme. Now, when Snow is in Palampolum, he actually frightens off a crowd of people, and then they later return as an angry mob.
Yeah,
Snow doesn't handle the people skills good. He's not great at that.
No.
He expects that he's gonna just drop in and be the hero, do a heroic thing, and then people see the Lassie brand on his wrist and are like, oh crap, what the hell? They never react to him quite the way he's hoping, it feels like.
He dresses like a homeless man and punches people. I don't know what he was expecting.
And he has a bad tribal tattoo.
Yeah, kind of does.
Yeah. He's one of those bros. That's what he looks like. But I mean, he does have a heart of gold. You got to admit that.
Yeah, unfortunately, this world likes wearing silver.
Yeah, I mean, his heart is in the right place, but his head's a little messed up.
He's not so pleasantly scruffy, which is nice.
There's also, okay, let's, again, in fairness to the character design, think about everything this man has gone through in the previous, 3 weeks before we meet him at the start of the game.
And also, it was kind of a stylistic choice of that time, so...
Yes. Also, this game came out in 2007, so, there was a certain... yes, beanies, long jackets, and homeless man attire was definitely a style.
And yes, Pyrocats, I think Snow did take one too many hits to the head.
Yes, he did. Also, I would absolutely pay real Earth dollars to see Snow versus Zell in a match. That would be amazing.
All right, let's go and continue on. We just have a few more tracks left here. This next one is called Sustained by Hate. The translation of the Japanese theme is called The End of Love and Hate. Onshu no Hate? Does that sound right?
Onshu is the big part where this is one of those moments where the kanji translation changes dramatically, because it can mean a handful of... as always with kanji, it is what it is attached to. So, let's see. Let me grab you. Let me pull up my handy dandy tools that I probably should have had open beforehand. So Honshu is love and hate by itself, but each individual kanji means something different. Where on means favor by itself, and the second kanji means revenge by itself. But when you put them together, it means love and hate.
Very appropriate. This is, of course, an arrangement of Hope's theme, which is why all the various places where it plays throughout the game have to do with Hope, with his arc and his character growth.
And the title fits because he's basically continuing on because of his hatred of Snow and what happened with his mother.
Yeah.
But also remember the second kanji in the Shu kanji can be read by itself as revenge.
Yep.
And this is during the time where he tries to kill Snow because he still believes that Snow killed his mother.
Yep. So yeah.
Like, he designated the plan Operation Nora, which again going back to the thing that Snow had as his stuff. Only here it's Nora as in his mother. It's his plot to take revenge for what happened to his mother.
But during this part, Snow actually apologizes for Hope's mother's death.
I mean, the apology is one thing, but there's also the bit where, as Hope is about to make the attempt on Snow's life, they're both attacked, fall from the building, and Snow cradles Hope and takes the brunt of the fall damage.
Because it's what Snow does.
Yep, to someone who had just tried to stab him. And this is something that Hope just can't understand. Like, his attempts to resolve all this, to process it. Because again, like, the sustained by hate is a really good one. Much like Vanille had this whole thing where, okay, she does the let's think about it later, let's not think about it, in order to avoid collapsing into despair. Mm-hmm. For Hope, it is his hate that keeps him going. Without the desire to take revenge, without that, he doesn't actually have a reason to keep going. And he seizes on that revenge plan. Lightning herself notes that this is probably not a good thing, but also it is the only thing that's keeping him moving right now, so we'll just leave it be for the moment.
Sometimes you just kind of got to do that. And
this song's also...
I was going to say, it's interesting that this song is also played in Final Fantasy XIII too, during the Academia 4XX portion of it, where Hope reflects on this instant in the past.
Hope is brilliant. He's an amazing character in 13 too. Mm-hmm. In 13, he starts off rough, obviously, and then once he kind of has that change later where Lightning and Snow specifically have just lost control of their emotions, Hope is the one that keeps the party moving as the level-headed one as he overcomes this level of grief enough that he can push himself forward.
Yep. There's a huge character change in Hope in this game, and it's really, it just shows how amazing the story is written here.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much it's about him finding another reason to carry on, one that's going to be a bit more sustainable and not result in his destruction and the destruction of those around him.
All right, now this next song is an arrangement of Fang's theme. It's called The Pulseless Sea. Now this plays during Fang's flashback of the 5th day.
Is it just me, or is Fang actually the best character in this game?
She's fucking awesome. But I mean, Fang has her own, her own reasons why she's really important to the story.
Yes.
Which we'll get to probably in Disc 3, but
yeah,
we don't want to spoil things too much.
She's so good.
Relatively late arrival to the team, and there's frequently a lot of she integrates into the team a little bit less so than the rest of them. Like, she does become, they do become this big bond thing, but she's always one has a little more distance.
She's kind of staying back here where everyone's kind of all together. She's kind of hanging back. She's only there really for Vanille.
Pretty much. Like, both she and Vanille are pulseless sea as opposed to the cocoonless sea. And in Fang's case, that means that you have like this kind of separation culturally, emotionally, in all these different ways.
Well, these two are also from Grand Pulse. They're not actually from Cocoon.
Right.
I mean, granted, the entire party they're all pulseless-y.
Yeah, but when we first meet her, it's because she had been on the Lindblom with Sid Raines, involved in Snow's rescue. But there's some amount of like she's in this for her own goals.
Yep.
This is, as noted, it's during the flashback of the 5th day of what was going on with Fangs, where Fang and Vanille are stealthily making their way around Cocoon after having woke up there for reasons they don't understand. Awakening Cocoonless Sea in the process, which gets Dodge branded. So look at all these things tied together.
It's crazy how this story is just put together. I mean, it seems like a Tarantino flick, for crying out loud.
There's just so many pieces, and they all start coming together, and every character is critically important, and you don't know how much until later.
Yep. It takes a little while, but the story building is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, technically both Fang and Vanille are pulselessy, but the title of the pulselessy clearly refers to Fang here. She's the one who's a lot more alien to the group, a lot more far removed.
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and play the final song from Disc 2 of Final Fantasy XIII. And this is Seyrr's theme. Another arrangement of The Promise, but this is definitely Seyrr's leitmotif. And the only character theme to have lyrics, and this, like the other lyrics song, is performed by Francis Maya.
I mean, it's kind of a slowed down version of the Sun Left Waterscape, or the Sun Left Waterscape is a sped up version of this.
No, well, like I said, this is all just rearrangements of The Promise, so.
Sure.
Which is the main theme of Final Fantasy XIII, really. So, I mean, it's beautiful. We're having to talk more over this one because of the lyrics, but...
Yeah. By the way, in case you're new here, there's a reason we talk over the music. And don't play the whole song.
Yes, because we're trying to make this as legit as possible. We're trying to make sure that to explain our feelings of these songs when we talk about them and
not to put too fine a point on it, it's more transformative if we're not using as much of the work.
Yes,
that's exactly how we do it.
And you can still vibe to the music, and if you want to listen to the actual music itself, it's available on a lot of streaming services. You can buy it on Amazon, your local your local music store. You can ask them to order it. Like I said, there's great ways to go purchase this music, and we strongly encourage you to do so. All of these,
show your support for it. Show that there's a market for this.
All of these were purchased by me, owned by me. So I've purchased all of these songs, and making sure that you guys also try and purchase them as well as you enjoy them, please.
Mm-hmm.
I own like half of it, so already before I even started.
Yeah. Taliz, you don't want to see my stack of soundtracks now. I mean, I think I have everything from like 1 to.
So one
15.
thing I want, getting back to the actual thing about the track, although it plays in various points relating to Seyrr, of course, being Seyrr's theme, but one of the other places it plays is during the compiled flashbacks of the 11th day before the party leaves for Grand Pulse. This is kind of the major point where they're leaving behind Cocoon. They're kind of leaving, in a way, they are sort of leaving where Seyrr is. Seyrr as this representative of all this stuff they're fighting for. So it's kind of this moment of like reflecting on what it's for, and like the music playing over the flashbacks really emphasizes Seyrr's role as this person that brought all this together.
And we should also note that at this point, Seyrr is Crystal.
Oh yeah,
yes.
She's been Crystal since like chapter 2.
Yeah, but well, there's a few of the day flashbacks where she is still Seyrr and she's interacting with the party and the different members, but. For the most of this game, as we're playing it, Seyrr's focus was completed, and she turned to Crystal, which is why Lightning is trying to save her sister, and why Snow is trying to save his girlfriend, and blah 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 blah.
Oh,
welcome to Final
Snow
Fantasy
sees
13.
this as okay, she's safe, she's going to get eternal life and all this, but yeah, oh man, analysis of it as reactions to grief. Anyways,
I mean, a lot of this.
I'm going to go down some rabbit holes, so maybe we should just leave it there.
If you guys want to discuss that more, jump onto our Discord channel and mention that in the Lorebrary. Seyrr will be more than happy to type your ear off, or should I type your eyes off? That doesn't sound right either. But
I don't like either of those sentences.
Yeah, I could say that I could go down more rabbit holes than a frequenter of the Vieira brothel.
On that bombshell, if you join us on the Discord in the Final Fantasy channel, I just posted an excellent image of a good friend of mine who loves cosplaying, has a great Vanille cosplay that she built herself by hand. So if you like cool cosplay, show off. Shout outs to Bizria
Oh,
Cosplay.
dang.
It's good.
Yeah, she's amazing. She also cosplayed Luna Freya from 15 and a bunch of other people. She's been Persona characters. She's been Pokemon characters. She was Mila for work cosplay contest. Cough cough. So that was a lot of fun seeing some of these cool designs come out. But she's got some great Final Fantasy stuff as well.
But I don't see her silly wands fishing
No,
rod thingy.
hilariously she actively dislikes props. So most of her costumes are things that she wears, which gets really interesting for things like Eternal Sailor Moon for her wing display. Because she doesn't want to just like wear it on the outside like a vest. It is a fully built. The dress is part of it, and like has to be. I have seen a lot of this person helping them get cosplay on, and there's a lot of straps and a lot of permission that is required as you are strapping all of the pieces to her.
Yeah, and a lot of trust.
And then she just walks out naturally everywhere she goes. And it's phenomenal. Her work is just super, super cool. But I wanted to share that one because Final Fantasy XIII is retrospectively one of our favorite games.
Well,
but it is
13-2
definitely
for sure, but
it's I'll put it this way, it's in my middle 5. It's not in my bottom 5. It's in my middle 5. So
I liked it. I really did enjoy 13. I thought it was a very interestingly written game, and we'll get more into our thoughts on it as well as we get into discs 3 and 4. So
it's absolutely in my top 5. And probably in one of the higher positions. I don't usually like actively ranking things, but there was a lot of stuff about it that just worked for me. And I dislike a lot of the traditional criticisms of it, so...
And a lot of these, our opinions are based off of where we were at in our lives during that time frame as well, so...
Very true.
So,
I was a different human being in 2007, I can promise you that.
Oh, yeah.
Music was great when I was in my late teens to early 20s, and after that it was terrible. That's how this works.
Sure. And on that bombshell, that's going to go ahead and do it for this episode, guys. If you liked what you heard, please make sure to like, subscribe, or follow us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever your preferred podcatcher is. And if possible, leave us a rating or review. It helps us know how we're doing and also helps other people to find our show. If you really dig the show, you can consider subscribing here at twitch.tv/PhoenixStarRadio, where you'll get access to a number of subscriber-only emotes and badges. Or you can go out to patreon.com/PhoenixStarRadio and support us like our benevolent overlord Rory Fenrir, our shadowy foreign investor Tibian Salts, or our secret of Nevermore Ravenheart. You can check that out, and you get early access to the podcast as well. And all proceeds go towards growing the show, cover things like hosting costs, allow us to improve and upgrade equipment, as well as do some fun things like contests and giveaways. But any kind of support, whether it's emails, tweets, likes, subs, follows, donations, whatever, it's all greatly appreciated because we just love interacting with you guys and the rest of the community. If you want to check out our backlog of episodes, if you're new here, go out to our website, PhoenixStarRadio.com. We have all 176 other episodes plus a few specials. So check that out. There's also a few articles that when we actually wrote articles. Taliz, maybe you can jump into that again. You were thinking about helping out at that point, kind of throwing that out on you.
$35,000 in student loans that says I know how to write articles. I would love to write articles again.
So we'll try and get that going again. Maybe we'll get some more library drops from Seyrr. He had a really interesting one on Gilgamesh a couple of years back. So
I have a bunch of student loans that says I know how to use Google.
And I have a bunch of, I paid off all my student loans to tell me I can use technology.
Yeah.
and keep this website going. So
thank God.
If you have questions, comments, or just want to say hi, you can go ahead and email us podcast@PhoenixStarRadio.com. You can check out our Twitter page for as long as Twitter is still a thing at PHXDN Radio.
Oh.
Well, I mean, am I wrong?
You're not. No.
I mean, at least Twitter's doing better than Hive Social. I don't know if you guys heard.
Hive.
It's another social media thing where people are trying to go to that, and Mastodon I think was another one that's out there. But they actually had...
Maybe we should just continue with the closing notes.
Okay, anyway. Where I strongly recommend you come out to is our Discord. If you can go to PhoenixStarRadio.com/Discord, should bring you to a link to join our Discord channel here. Or you can click on any of the links in the live show notes here, or live show chat here. But
Discord, it's not terrible yet.
Well, it's also a great place for our actual community because it's our server. We're the ones who get to say hi to you guys, and we're all interacting as lovers of Final Fantasy.
It's not terrible yet.
Anyway, how can people find you guys?
First off, my name is Marvelous, and yes, my name is an adjective. My hair is usually green. It's not today. My pronouns are he, him. I identify as a problem. I disagree with Seyrr. Discord is terrible. You should still join ours, though. It's fun. We post cool things about cosplay. You can find me on your least favorite social media platform at Marvelous Tofu. I like talking about lore, history, Japanese culture, and game design. Message me with questions because I like answering them. If you want to find me on Discord, I am also at Marvelous Tofu. Hashtag 4004. And if you want to find me anywhere else, go for it. It'd be weird though, but my name is Marvelous, so I'm not too hard to find.
Are you still on Insta, bro?
I am still on Instagram. Like I said, on your least favorite social media at Marvelous Tofu. That means everything. So, let's see here.
Shout outs?
Shout outs. We're going to shout out to our good friend Kylie, who has been dealing with some medical problems, which is unfortunate. They are a really cool friend of ours that we met about 2 years ago. She has been posting some really fantastic Final Fantasy food. She has a blog where she makes a bunch of Moogle Cafe, Final Fantasy related snacks. She makes a lot of her own cakes. She's an amazing human being. So go follow her if you can. She's got some really cool stuff. She can also be found in our Discord. Also, shout out to my best friend Kat, who went to a maker's fair with me today. It was super fun. We bought a bunch of stuff from a bunch of young entrepreneurs, which is really cool. It's all homeschool kids in a small community running their own art fair for 3 hours today.
That's freaking sweet, though.
It was awesome. We spent way more money than we meant to, and I don't care. It was a blast. So yeah, support your local artists. And until next time, mata mitane.
Seyrr, you're up.
Sure. Shout outs to my mom and dad who were remarkably good natured about me needing to stay down for Thanksgiving for an extra 3 days while car stuff was getting resolved.
That was sweet of them.
Yeah, they listened to me about ideas for how to run things. They watched anime. My dad really liked My Dress Up Darling.
Nani the fuck?
It just seemed appropriate.
My mom is cautiously interested in Zombieland Saga. This is weird.
Zombieland Saga is amazing.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Just show her the radio producer from season 2. Just show the entry, and that is it. That is just no context, and you're fine.
Beautiful. Yeah, so shout out to them. Shout out to all of you for being patient and understanding when last week's show was derailed because my car had issues again. It does appear that it is working, so we should be good to go from here on out. But thank you all for your patience and understanding and comforting at a few points. I really needed it. Thank you so much. You can find me on Twitter at FF14 Seyrr. That's FFXIV SEYRR. You can find me on the Phoenix Down Radio Discord, where I am usually looking to be distracted from whatever it is I'm actually doing. I've never actually been diagnosed with ADHD, but it would not surprise me.
No, definitely not. But we're still glad to have you, buddy.
Yeah, no, happy to be here. And yeah, I feel like there's something. No, I think that's it.
That'll work.
All right, how about you, Klauss? Who do you want to shout out this week?
Well, obviously, shout out to both of you guys for being here again. Marvelous, great to have you here joining us, hopefully as on a regular basis again, because we missed you. We really did. It's nice to have you. Couldn't hear what you just said because you muted again, but muted.
Like, I can't only horrify Klauss. Like, I need some variety here.
Anyway, shout out to my girlfriend. She's keeping me sane these last month, so very awesome. Thank you so much for putting up with my shit, I guess. Shout out to everybody who checks us out on the podcast. We're glad you guys can join us and listen in, as well as everybody who's joining us out on Discord. Like, seriously, it's a great place to hang out, chat, talk about Final Fantasy, talk about whatever's you want to talk about. It's just a really wholesome community, I think. And I'd like to continue to build it.
Yeah.
We have a really good group of people in our Discord, so seriously, come join us and hang out. It's a lot of fun. You can find me out on social media somewhere. You can find me out on PHXDN_KLAUSS on Twitter for now. But like I said, I spend more of my time on Discord and just trying to hang out here. So with that, for my co-hosts Seyrr Tomono and for Taliz Marvelous, I am Klauss Nightbringer, wishing everybody a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.
Phoenix Down Radio is a production of PhoenixDownRadio.com and Illusion Productions. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. In-game content for Phoenix Down Radio is the copyright of Square Enix. Opening music for Phoenix Down Radio is provided by Guilty Gear Rock You. Check out the Metal Chocobo theme cover and many other music videos at youtube.com/Guilty Gear Rock You. Closing music for this episode is provided by Guitar Wanker 90. Please check out their full version of Matoya's Cave and other rock video game covers at youtube.com/Guitar Wanker 90. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of Phoenix Down Radio and its hosts and do not reflect the views of Square Enix.